Hello and welcome back to Artists Soar. We're coming together this morning and we're going to be talking about art pricing, but it's going to be very interesting today. I'm Rachel.
Stephanie.
And I'm Jules.
So, Stephanie has done a lot of research on pricing your artwork and like the history of pricing artwork and how it really doesn't necessarily benefit the artist, and it benefited galleries and other people. It's just really interesting, some of the stuff that she discovered while putting together this wonderful book called Art Pricing the Secrets, Art Pricing Secrets, ethically pricing creativity, the formula that works.
Right.
And she's given us a lot of good information in here. Over 20 years of just working in both private world, private like corporations, but also doing her artwork. This is available on Amazon, and right now it's free for Kindle Unlimited. So you want to grab a copy of this and at least have it in your Kindle at all times, because it just gives a lot of good information. Because we really are talking about how to price your artwork, and it's really difficult to take a step back and look at, well, how much would someone pay for that? Well, that's not really the question,
Right.
necessarily.
Right.
So we're pretty much going to turn it over to you and ask questions, but you really do have some great information.
Okay.
So
Well, I appreciate that. So one of the things, like how this kind of got started was because of Julie. So
Why does everything seem to start with me?
everything, a lot of stuff starts with you, girl.
So back when we didn't really know each other.
No,
but
we didn't.
Somebody asked.
I reached out to you
Yeah.
about how you price your artwork, and we met up for coffee at
Cafe
Beignet.
Beignet.
Yeah. And
I bring out my laptop with my spreadsheets, and she's like asking these questions. I'm like, well, yeah, what I was told in the beginning, and pricing my artwork, and what many artists are told now is to price by square inch.
yeah.
But as you
Yes.
get up in pricing per square inch, the math doesn't make sense.
Well, and that's where my battle was.
Yeah.
I was fighting this, like, this doesn't make logical sense to me.
Right.
And I come from a place of logic when it comes to pricing because of my interior design background, and how I price stuff for that is based on time and how much space you have. So it's a combination of things. It's not just by the square inch.
Right.
And I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I wanted to talk to another artist how they price their stuff.
Well,
Right.
and remember when we were up on the third floor at Low Mill, that lady that was down from us that did the artwork, she was only there for a little while. The bigger pieces of like faces, and I wanted to get something done of my daughter, and she was like, "Oh," she pretty much like said, "You can't afford me." She blew me. I mean, she really did blow me off.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And that's when I asked you about that. I'm like, she charges like it was something crazy, like 500 square inch. And I'm like, well, I can get an inch by an inch.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
was still
it was
expensive.
insane.
So I was like, and then we talked about it, and then you reached out to her because through, you were downstairs. Anyway, so it was, yeah.
Yeah, so we started doing the math, and I was like, I even had the same questions when I was talking with another artist, and she was like, oh, yeah, you just like bring it down to whatever feels good. And that's when like
That's not right.
No, that's
No.
not right.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't
What
feel
feels good?
So yeah, and then so you would start
Let the
reducing.
spirit guide you.
I know, right? I mean, nobody does this like in the real world. We know how much things actually cost, and so that kind of led to
Correct.
like why and who told artists that they need to do by square inch.
Yep.
And it goes back to the galleries, back before we had internet, and back before, like, even then, like, 1600s and 1500s, there were galleries, and those galleries had limited space, and they knew how much money they needed to make per square inch
Yep.
of space on the walls. And that's where it came about. It's because
Right.
they needed to know and make sure that they covered their overhead.
Yep.
Right.
And we don't necessarily have that problem anymore, right? We have the internet.
Right.
We have all these different features and functions that we have available to us now to market and sell our things. And so the square inch it makes sense for a gallery, but it doesn't make sense for an artist.
Right.
It's a great starting point. Is it the right starting point? Not anymore, I don't think.
No.
So when I started kind of going down the rabbit hole of like what would make sense. And in the corporate world, you start at a baseline of here's your salary, and then based on years of experience and your title, you move up.
Correct.
The same should be true for artists, because like as when I was beginning like a pet portrait artist, I should not be charging what Joanne Manji is charging, who's like a really amazing pet portrait artist. So, if you start down here and you're up here, what's the logic behind what she's charging versus what I'm charging?
Right, exactly.
Right. And so that's where this Dreyfus model of skill mastery comes into play, is to basically say there are like 7 levels of mastery. And understanding that, and then what artists are charging per hour, which is documented in the U.S. Labor Bureau statistics, something like that. I was able to kind of take that information and combine it together to develop a formula where it actually makes sense. And it's based on numbers and facts that yes, you've been at this level for 3 years. You've been, and so I'm going to actually take you over to a spreadsheet.
So before you go there, let's talk a little bit though about this issue of people underpricing.
Oh my gosh, underpricing just sets the whole bar for the whole art industry down.
Low.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had people come into the studio going, well, I'll give you $20 for that. And I'm like, that panel cost me $15.
Right.
So you're saying that my value is $5. And so when
That's
artists,
crazy.
artists negotiate like that, or they put their level low, that's insulting everyone around you.
Yeah. Well, I even if you're just a hobbyist, like, please do not underprice it.
Right.
It's okay to be at a low price, but recoup some of your time and don't forget about all the materials. And that just makes it so hard when I'm designing murals, for instance, for someone. And, Joe Schmo down the street here will charge me $500 for his design and time, but you're charging me $1,500 for just the design? It's like, well, yeah, because of these things here, and I pull out, my mastery and my skills and my experience and my investment and all the things that I've done over the years that relate to this design.
So Julie's actually one of the case studies too of how she used the spreadsheets that are included with the book, how she used it to basically prove to a client that this is the value. And and it shows a little bit of wiggle room based on kind of like the psychological aspects of it, as well as gives you some negotiation room to get the job. Right.
Yes.
And, it's a really valuable tool. But you bring up a really good point. When artists undercharge, you are devaluing the whole art industry.
Yes.
And I've had a number of conversations with artists who have they're licensed artists.
Yeah.
And they'll sell an original for $100.
Yep.
Oh,
and
that's so crazy, isn't it?
No, honey.
Raise that price. Exactly. Please raise that up.
And she has, and she's getting the money that she's asking for. So
and the thing about it is a lot of people just don't even believe that though. Yeah. Because you'll go through like just Low Mill or what used to be the art district in Asheville, and you'll see something for $100 and you see something for $12,000. Yeah. And you're like, what?
Right.
So
you devalue, because the person who's work that's at $12,000, it's amazing, and it's worth it's worth it. He's a master and everything, but then people look at it and go, why?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They question everything. But anyway, okay.
And there are, like any rule, there's an exception to the rule. Like if you look at Biden's son, Hunter, total exception to the rule. He is only getting money because of who his daddy is.
Right.
And who he is, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. His work, I have seen so much better from 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So it's
Yeah, definitely.
there are exceptions to the rules. And I'm not here, like, when I say this, do not send me your work for me to evaluate it. I'm not here to do that. I've had that happen, and I'm just like, I'm not that person.
Right. No. And that's why your pricing logic is so good, because it doesn't necessarily take into account, is that a good artwork or not, because that's subjective.
Right.
It takes into account, this is the number of years I've been doing it. This is what my materials cost.
Right.
And here's my pricing range based on my experience and time.
Mm-hmm. If you want to know if your artwork is good, know your audience. They're the ones that are going to tell you whether it's good or bad.
Or go to a peer critique, pay the whatever it costs to go to a peer critique, and get critiqued by other peers
that you know, like, and trust.
And you'll also learn from the other critiques.
Right,
that are there too. You won't just learn, right. You won't just learn from what they say about yours. You sit and listen to everyone else's, and you can learn so much more just from those other critiques.
Yeah,
so, good
exactly.
point.
Yeah.
Because this is not about the artwork
critiquing
itself. Yeah.
Right. Any other questions before we dive in?
No, go ahead, dive in.
We're
Sorry.
We're going to go to the nerd side now. So I'm going to share my screen. So what you see here, this is the spreadsheet that comes with the book. And basically, you should consider this like a performance review every year. So every year I should be looking at this going, do I need to increase my prices? So the last date of evaluation I did this was actually in May of last year. So I need to go ahead and go through this, and we're going to go through this together. So this is today's date. Can I cover my monthly expenses? So there's a drop-down menu in this. So I mentioned before about the 7 levels of mastery. That's when this comes into play. If you're a novice training to become an artist, meaning you have minimal or textbook knowledge without connecting to the practice. So this is like something like somebody's just coming into oil painting or drawing, and they don't necessarily know what it takes to do X, right? And they're learning that X. They haven't mastered that X. And like drawing a portrait, that takes a long time to do. And you're still taking classes, and you're taking a lot of classes, and you're learning. You're still at the novice level. So you need some oversight there. Advanced beginner, you're gaining experience, and you've painted like at least 50 paintings. Now, one of the questions I get when this book goes out is this only related to paintings? The answer to that is no. This is connects to any visual art, and then if
pottery, anything like
pottery is a little bit different.
Oh,
so that was another point that. When you look at the Labor Bureau statistics, there are different categories for like leather workers, potters, and they make different money. Like their base pay is going to be a little bit different, and it's all based on Labor Bureau statistics. Okay,
so this is visual.
Yeah, so I can come up with another formula for that, and it's the same formula. It's just applying different numbers. So when I kind of go through this, it's really talking about paintings as well as photography. So visual.
Oh, okay.
Visual.
Gotcha.
Competent has sold or completed up to 10 paid for commissions and paintings for non-relatives. That's very important.
Yeah.
Because my mama loves my stuff too. And
exactly.
So you kind of want to go outside your circle, and that's showing that you are competent in your work and you have confidence in it. So you're ready to get 10 paid for commissions and things like that. Proficient, and that's where I'm at probably right now, can cover monthly artist expenses of business with extra income. So with each one of those, you can be at that level indeterminately. There's no defined limit on how long you're going to be at that level.
Yep.
So if you think back to the corporate world, you could be a cashier for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And you're proficient at it. You can be an expert at it. You're training other people. So it's just kind of, and you reach that expert where you're training other people at a certain point.
Yeah.
So it just plays no matter where you're going.
Gotcha.
Expert can create clients by invitation or referral only, has repeat clients. And I can probably argue that I'm there too.
Yeah, that's where I would see you at.
You're definitely there.
So I'm going to select that one. But if you want to kind of get into other ones like mastery. So what I did actually, when I went back to work as a program manager, I moved myself back from expert to proficient. Because the way the economy was, under like the previous administration, way the economy was, it was rare to make full-time income as an artist.
Right.
And now that we're in a different
commissions,
administration, the economy's moving up. And so I can actually live off of what I'm doing as a artist. So I can bump it back to expert. So just because you move up you can move down.
Yeah.
And you might even jump. So it's something that you constantly evaluate, which means you're evaluating your prices. Okay.
And you should do this annually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Annual performance review. Mastery, so can create clients whenever you choose by releasing pieces or have a wait list. Wow, how fabulous would that be?
I know, right?
I mean, that one I think of like Andrew Tischler, Christopher Rimmers. Those guys are just like, they release a piece and people are clamoring. Banksy, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Practical wisdom can have extended vacations and create income while they sleep. Those guys probably all do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that's just kind of that's the level. So, but that's that Dreyfus model, skill mastery. So the years of experience at this level. So expert, I just changed mine, right? So I'm almost starting all over again now that I'm going back to expert.
Correct.
Like I left my job for a little bit. I'm coming back to the workforce of being an artist, right?
Right.
So I'm only here for like maybe 1 year. So notice what will happen in line number 7. My base wage right now was going to be $37.77. Based on the skill level of 2 years, it was $54.39. Now I'm at $45.32 an hour. So knowing that, that's what I should be paid per hour based on my level of experience.
That's awesome.
Whew,
That is.
that was a lot to say. So how does this play into actually calculating things, right? So if I go back, there's another tab in here, size and cost value. So you'll actually see some things in here that I use this for custom oil pet portraits, custom landscape portraits, things like that, when I know based on how long things take me. So for those who don't know, how long do things take you? Start documenting that now. And how I've done that in the past is I'll like turn on a playlist that I know is an hour and a half long. Gotcha. And that way I will be painting for an hour and a half. It stops. It's time for me to take a break, and I know I've spent an hour and a half on that painting. So over time, I'm going to learn that when somebody asks me to do an 8x10 portrait, I know it's going to take me X time.
Or whatever.
And so I can set my baseline for that price.
And I love it that you can put, and you can put the cost of the material in here. So if you don't grab a sale, or if you're getting a sale on some 8x10s or whatever, you can throw it in here, that kind of thing. So I like this.
So like when I do custom dry brush paintings, I use Bristol paper. That cost me 60 cents. I know it's going to take me 3 hours. And I can charge, so you can see like the hourly rate brings it over from that first spreadsheet. And I have my Formula 2 cost of materials plus hours times hourly rate. So that gets me my base of what I should be charging, and then I add in my experience. So by looking at that, I could see that in order to recoup my costs and make my base pay, I would charge $136. But based on my experience, I should be charging $389.23. That gives me a wiggle room of $252.66. So if I choose to give that person or organization a discount based on what they do, how they benefit animals and things like that, then I have a little bit of wiggle room with that.
Nice.
So, and I have a tendency to kind of go on the higher end, and I will round it out to like 400.
Right. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I would round it out too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how that rolls. Let's see, what's another one? Framed and matted.
Yeah, show that one.
Framed and matted.
Like
So-
your canine.
So this one was
Yeah.
yeah.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah, there we go.
Again. Yeah.
So like framed and matted, I did a canine and paid for the matting, did all that, and it would cost, the cost of materials was only $78 because I got a heck of a deal with the guy I was working with for the framing and mattings, and I knew it would take me 4 hours, so that kind of went up in price, and that's an 18 by 24 as well.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
Yeah, so it's 18 by 24, and I got a wiggle room of $479, and that one was a organization that I work a lot with, so I charged less.
Right.
Because I wanted to have the reoccurring with them,
Right.
maintain that relationship, because I will make that money up with them.
Well, and you charge less than the calculated price with experience factor, the $738. And when you say you charge less,
Yeah, when I charged less, it was like about $600.
yeah. But it's
See,
I just
that's-
wanted to make a point. It's not off. It's not less than the $479. It's less than the $738.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, and you'll see like this one. So there's difference here. So the 18 by 24 framed canine, that one was a dry brush oil. So dry brush oils take me a lot less time. When I'm doing a oil, it takes me more time. And even though it was less cost, more time, I'm going to charge a lot more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's taking all the emotion and all the what feels good out of it.
Right.
And doing the logic. I'm looking here. I keep looking at this one of your fox and bear on panels. 82 hours.
Yeah, that
That's
was a lot.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was a great.
Oh, it's a
Thank
beautiful piece. I mean, no question about it. But 82 hours.
Yeah, it was a
Wow.
lot of time.
So let's do this scenario. Like, how do you use this when you're doing a commission? So you haven't painted it yet.
Okay.
How do you actually track your hours when you're working on a piece? And so for the audience out there, like
Yeah.
how you came up with those hours, because I know in my industry, we track our hours. You know, some projects are hourly, so I have a timesheet that I fill out and I track all my hours in. How are you doing that on your own?
Yeah, how
I'm
do you-
smiling because I'm not that regimented anymore.
Oh no.
So, like, if I don't even know if I've gone over, but I can tell you, majority of the time, I probably haven't.
Yeah.
And if
You have
it's-
not?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
not.
How many hours do you kind of quote them?
It depends. So, like my pet portraits,
Mhm.
those are regimented. Like I pretty much know what it's going to take. When we do something really custom, like
Well, like the big piece that you just did, how did
Yeah.
you estimate your hours for that? Because you don't paint that big typically,
right,
and so you know you had to come up with that to give her the price, obviously.
I wonder if
'Cause
that's in here. Let's see. I wonder if that's in here. Yeah, because that one was a custom landscape with 3 hummingbirds. Total new idea. We had probably about 30 different reference images, and
Jeez, just go.
Well, and you even
Yeah.
did a small sample piece too, that needs to be included with your cost of materials and time.
Yeah. So I knew I was going to do a small sample piece, and I knew that would probably take me about 10 hours. And I just kind of guessed, kind of going back and forth with her on the general idea, and then I painted a general idea, and then we went through that. And the nice thing about oil is, like, if you change your mind, all you have to do is paint it again, or like wait for it to dry and then go over it. Right. It was like no big deal for me. But I'm at that stage where it's not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
So I estimate about 10 hours on that, and then about 80 hours on the 4 foot by 5 foot.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And that 80 hours kind of came from basically what I knew for the smaller piece, where it was, let's see, where is it? Oh, yeah, there it is. That's what I did. So I knew it was going to be Artist Series. Yeah, so I booked total of 90 hours.
Okay.
10 hours on the thumbnail. And you can actually see that.
There's the thumbnail, yeah.
I broke it down. I expanded this. So I had my thumbnail paintings. I had oil paints, how much I estimated it would cost. The varnish, how much it was going to cost.
And you included the frame, too. Yeah.
Because we wanted an antique.
And the transportation.
Transportation,
yeah.
Installation. And then we were even talking like, well, what if I made it smaller? What if she made it smaller? Because we started out at 72 by 60 and then a 48 by 60. So I kept a running tally in here. So that one I took down 48 by 60 to 85 hours. The cost of it went down, which that actually ended up costing me more, because what happened is when we went to go pick out the custom antique gold floater frame, she picked a profile that was smaller than the 1 3/8. So I had to have the canvas actually custom made.
Okay.
So because of that, I had this nice kind of substantial wiggle room of here's what it was going to cost me versus what I was going to charge them.
Yeah.
And so I didn't lose money, and I had to pay an extra $200 to have that
the
canvas custom made.
Right.
Gotcha.
So that's a good point to make, that you do want to have that wiggle room in there when you're giving somebody a price for a commission, because it's a piece of work you haven't done. And that's why I wanted to differentiate, like, work you haven't done yet, you've got to build in some time for the things that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah, at least 10%.
Right, exactly. I mean, I always have, in my design, I like to do things in lump sums to clients instead of by the hour, because I hate tracking my hours.
Yeah.
But, so I always put what I call my wiggle room, my mistake area, or what if something's going to run over? And we usually do 15 to 25%, depending on the size of the job. If it's a 100,000 square foot job, I'm not going to do a 25% wiggle room. But if it's a 1,000 square foot job, I'm probably going to do a 25% wiggle room.
Right.
For that very reason, because 9 times out of 10, it ends up costing me more time than what I estimated, because I also don't like to nickel and dime my clients for revisions. And if I can build that in the get-go. So it's kind of the same thing with a commission piece.
Yeah, because you did the
don't have it done
piece
yet.
To have her okay it.
Right. Where with a final piece, like your bear and the fox, that was already done. You knew what it took you time-wise.
Yeah, and that one I did for me. This one I did for somebody else, so I knew I wanted to stay within the 85 hours.
Yeah.
And the thumbnail painting, I actually decided to do 8 by 10, and I ended up doing 2. She selected 1, and so we moved forward with that 1 until I had it finished. She came in person to review and approve, and once it was approved, then I started the big one. And the only things that deviated along the path for the bigger one is because you're going from an 8 by 10 to a 4 foot by 5 foot. There's a lot more space in there that I can play with.
Right.
And so that's when dewdrops started happening, and extra little flowers and stuff. But I was probably still within that 85 hours.
That's good.
That's good.
But I did spend
that's hard to do.
A total of 6 months on this. 5 months. A total of 5 months.
Yeah, it was a long.
Because I would wait for things to dry, and that's another important factor. It's not how long it takes, but how many hours it takes.
Exactly, because 85 hours is a lot less than 5 months.
Right.
And so you can't charge by the oh, it took me 5 months to do.
Well,
Right.
and then acrylic, you're not going to have near as much time.
Well, so that
Depending, on drying time,
Drying
like
time,
if
yeah.
you're, or watercolor or whatever. So it's going to be pricing different, but it takes into account what it is that you're doing,
yeah.
the medium.
And I was glad that, like, I had this spreadsheet to reference and kind of walk through that logic. So when I actually sent them the invoice, I was able to say, here's option 1, here's option 2, and the actual cost breakdown, to the point where, I didn't tell them how much I was charging for thumbnail and oil paints and varnish. That's too much detail. But instead, I was able to say, like, the total amount is going to be this, including installation, transportation, and antique gold frame. And that for them was like, okay, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
And so it was comfortable. And they ended up like choosing option 2 and saying, let's move forward with option 2. And people like that. They like the options.
Yes.
So as much control, as much information as you can have to make sure that you can give a good price and make you feel good at the end of the day is valuable. And then providing your client with options, and so they understand the value that you're providing, is valuable.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And then, okay, what else you got?
The other tab, your experience calculations.
So experience calculations. This one's a locked tab, but this will explain things. And right now, I actually need to go in here and take a look. The Bureau of Labor Statistics recently came out with new numbers, and they actually went down, which is not a good thing. So you need to start charging correctly, people.
Exactly.
You're worth so much more than minimum wage. So anyway, and you'll also notice in here, and I explained this in the book, that percentage increase per year is at 20%. Because you being the CEO, CFO, the marketing expert, and all that, you deserve 20% pay increase every year.
Right.
Now, there's also mentioned in the book that at some point you might cap out. And that's going to be based on your evaluation of what you see happening in your market and in your prices. Like,
wow, that's interesting. So like when you say your market, are you talking like geographically? Like if you're in New York City, it's going to have a different price point really than maybe like Dallas or St. Louis or
that I take out as well. That's not in here.
That's not in there. So
this removes geographic location.
Okay, so when you say tap out in your market,
because now we're internet.
Huh?
I remove actually geolocation because you are internet.
Okay, so when you say tap out in your market, what does that mean? Sorry.
Pet portrait. Like, I don't know how much the top pet portrait artist charges, maybe $5,000 or something.
Yeah.
If you reach that level and nobody's willing to pay that for you,
then you've tapped out.
You've tapped out.
Gotcha.
Well,
So
and I
that's
find
good.
this in the design industry too, is the hourly rate charged here in Huntsville is completely different than the hourly rate charged in Atlanta. We're in the same geographical area when you look at the Southeast. However, I can't charge as much in one area that I can in another. But in an industry standpoint, the hourly rate for my skill set is like $225, but I can't necessarily get that everywhere.
Right.
I have to be flexible in that.
Taken that out.
Yeah,
though.
but for what
but
I'm just bringing that up because some visual artists, which interior design is a visual art, has to consider that because of, even though they may buy me over the internet, they're sitting somewhere geographically.
Well, so when I first kind of got into this, one of the things that really irked me about the pricing structure that's in place, it was like 1, geolocation, 2, race and ethnicity, gender biased. It had all these biases. And so this formula removes all the bias.
Yeah, you shouldn't have any bias.
It's just facts, guys.
Yeah,
just
exactly. I know, that's what drives me crazy.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, it's what the world should be. Is it true, false? Yes, no. remove all this other nonsense and appreciate the art for what it is, and let us pay the right and receive the right prices.
Right. Well, that's what I love about The Voice, the TV show The Voice. Their chairs are turned.
Right.
They can't
They're
see. They're completely blind. They're just listening, and it's just perfect. Yeah. There's no bias involved when they turn their chair around.
Yeah, I love that.
I wish that's how pricing was across the board.
I was going to go back to your book because I think everyone should have one of these on their bookshelves, especially if you're an artist. And this it has a lot of stuff. It has some appendixes, more recommended reading, the history. It also has places where you can put your
journal
thoughts,
a bit.
Notes and information that you have. Again, a nice, fun vision board in the back. There's just a lot of good information, and when you do buy the book, you get the
spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet that you can download. And she gives a lot of good information that's like in red lettering. That's the important things that you want to know and take away from the formula. And this, like, really does. It just works so well. Like, even for me, the novice or whatever.
Well, and I've used it for mural design. I've used it to reference for interior design pricing. I've used it for many different things.
And it just removes that initial angst of when somebody asks you how much you're going to charge for this. And your response is, well, let me get some details down for you. Let me understand what size you want. What do you have in mind? Do you have some reference images? And then I'll get you a quote.
Right.
And
then, and she mentioned the Dreyfus and Dreyfus, and she goes into a lot of detail about that, and even has her own little visual here that she drew out. I remember that. That was so cute.
There's actually videos that'll walk you through the spreadsheet too. You'll get the videos.
Oh, I know. It's really neat. And she really does make it super easy to price, to develop pricing, and also to have that argument, not an argument, but a defense for your pricing.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, it is
art
like
pricing
$0 on Kindle Unlimited right now. $0. You get it. You have it for always. But I think you need to have this hard softback copy, hard copy on your shelf. If you're an artist, you need to have it because it's just amazing.
You're so awesome,
I
Rachel.
know.
What? No, I'm not.
I know, but I mean, you're
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
wrong.
No, you're not. That's
Go
right.
and get it. Support. I mean, it's like $22.
It's
nothing.
$29, I think.
Is it $29?
Yeah.
It's all worth it. I think it's amazing.
Yes, it's worth every penny. So.
I even
You
sell
can get
them
it
in my store.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's also on our website. It's on in Amazon. You can get it wherever you need to buy it. It's very so look it up.
Art pricing secrets.
It's an
Ethically
easy
pricing
read.
Creativity. Yeah, it really is. I had to proofread this thing 20 times. It's not that bad.
Well, and it gives you a lot of good information, but it's not overly.
There's diagrams in it.
Yeah. It's not that thick. It's a good read, actually.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It is.
So you guys go check it out. Go check out her stuff on her website too. It's amazing. And I guess until next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.